Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Matthew, Watty's channel. Welcome back. We have finally hit the last 5 figures. Today, or in this video, we are working on the semifinals, the last 5 remaining figures of the My Favorite AWA Remco tournament. Now, technically, yes, the last 5 figures are all customs. But for those who might be viewing this video or viewing this tournament for the first time, 3 out of the last 5 figures are Mat Mania figures. So for the sake of this tournament and for the sake of my collection, I consider them to be original figures. So in reality, I'm kind of looking at it as 3 original figures to go along with 2 customs. So because I do appreciate having a 3-man tournament or 3-man finals more than a 2, I'm going to do a one-on-one with the first matchup. The names have already been selected. And then the last 3 guys, I'm going to pick 2 figures to move forward. So every other time I've done this, done my tournaments, I've always mixed in the semifinals and the finals together. Reason being, simply enough, 2 matches for the semifinals, 1 matchup for the finals. It just makes sense to keep those 3 matchups in one video and close out the tournament. But I'm going to punish you guys just a little bit this time around because I am going to withhold the finals this time around. So the semifinals will be its own video, and then I'll come back and make the finals in of itself. Now that video should only probably take about 10-15 minutes. But you guys know how bad I struggle making a decision when it comes to the last of the set of the figures. So it might take longer, but hopefully about a 15-minute video should suffice. So a part of my remaining figures does include the Barbarian, the Russian Borzukov, and of course the Sheik Al-Kasi, who I classify as originals. And then it has the Ultimate Warrior and Kamala among my customs. So I said it before many times. The Kamala character in of himself is such an important person, just such an important piece in my life. And just because of his background, his gimmick is just so awesome. I always feel like he comes up with some of the greatest figures. And what it really satisfies me, I guess, is that it always seems like Kamala is right there at the end of every tournament I do. So, that's pretty awesome. Well, I can't really say that. I mean, that's a bit of an exaggeration. Yes, he's there at the end for the Remcos. Yes, he's there at the end for every time I make the LGN tournament. But the Hasbro, I don't remember where he went. If he made it the first round or second round elimination, but still an awesome figure nonetheless. So I did draw the first 2 names, and the first 2 names are going to do the one-on-one, and then the last 3 guys are just going to square off against each other as I try to maneuver my way around, pick 2 random guys to push forward. So the first matchup is going to feature original Barbarian, custom, again for me, original, and custom Ultimate Warrior. So this is what's getting me. For several videos now, I've been talking about how the Ultimate Warrior, I felt was like, if I was a betting man, I felt like Ultimate Warrior would be the guy that I selected to win the entire tournament. Just prior to me even purchasing this figure, just when I first saw it on Russ's page, and before I even placed a bid on it, I'm like, man, if I bid on this and I win it, once I do my Remco tournament, it's game over. There is no way any of the figures can match up to the Ultimate Warrior. I mean, not only is he a beloved character in my life, but the figure is just lights out. And then you've got the Barbarian. So this John Nord figure is the very first Remco custom I ever purchased, and my buddy Chad over on Chaos Collectibles on YouTube, he did this awesome job, created an amazing piece, got it back to me immediately, and everything that you look at on this figure is just lights out. As I've talked about in the past, the addition of the accessories, not the same color scheme. That's okay. Again, it's his fresh take on it. It is a custom after all. So, but if you actually look at the head mold and whatnot, I've talked about it plenty. You can't tell that would have been a custom. Custom accessories, sure, why not? But the figure itself, pristine work. You know, just even just the way that, I mean, it might be so simple, you would think, to get the marker or the paintbrush, whatever it is that, you know, a lot of the customizers use. Just a detail to go, just a small little divot around the eyes. You know, that's all it takes. But, you know, I don't have that kind of technique or hand precision, I guess, to make something like that. Somehow I would mess that up and it would come out crooked looking. And it's just fantastic. I mean, I just can't say enough good things about the Barbarian figure. Again, with a lot of these matches here at the end, I really can't talk about the back history anymore because I've already talked about their history to death. I really do want these last two videos, the semifinals and finals, to be strictly about the figures themselves. But when you have an amazing figure after amazing figure after amazing figure, you've got to start using other things to consider who you want. I can simply say, okay, here is Barbarian. This is AWA Remco era. This looks like, again, this is something that you would see in the original release of these figures. Where you have the much more modern, upgraded head sculpt. Does it hurt the figure? Absolutely not. I think in some ways it improves on the figure, but if you wanted something that's more reminiscent, that would bleed in beautifully, this figure, come on, it does everything that you require for that original line. I talked about it, man, when did I mention it? Maybe the first round or second round sometime, I don't know when, but I kind of like question myself, like, hey, when the time comes and I've got two figures that I'm looking at, one is your Remco era, whereas the other is a more modern 3D printed version, which one am I going to go off of? There isn't a wrong answer. Either figure could do amazing in this tournament. They've already done amazing, making it to the fifth round, the semifinals. I mean, you really can't ask for more. This is a tough one, guys. I've been wanting this Warrior figure to win since, like I said, since before I even acquired him. I don't want to do 30-minute videos where I'm spending 10 minutes on each figure because I just can't decide. So I'm gonna try my best to make some quick selections with these figures, and for the first time, I'm putting down the no shirt Ultimate Warrior. So in back-to-back rounds, Dingo Warrior followed by Ultimate Warrior have been removed from competition. And you know what? If you told me before I started this tournament that Nord the Barbarian would move into the finals, I would have believed it. I mean, it's an absolutely fantastic figure. And just the overall, just the accessories, it's just so incredible, such an incredible look. So, Nord the Barbarian is the first of your three finalists going into round 6. Now, luckily with this next matchup, it does help to an extent that I can choose two figures and not just one, because if I had to pick one figure, I wouldn't be able to do it. From the originals, you're going to feature the Sheikh Al-Kasi, the Russian Boris Zhukov, and one of my all-time favorite figures. Not even talking about Remco's now. If I went around the room and looked at all the Remco's, Hasbro's, Galoob, LJN figures, you know, your Mattel Superstars, your Jakks Pacific Superstars, things like that, your this figure, I'm thinking would be on the top 10 or top 20 of my list. And when you look around the room and you see probably a couple thousand different action figures, I don't know if it's that much, but it definitely feels like that much. But and to find this kind of top 10 or top 20 would be absolutely incredible. And I've always said that Kamala, even as a kid, was one of my favorite, one of my favorite performers. He doesn't have to be like, your Bret Hart excellence of execution type of guy. He doesn't have to be this high flyer doing backflips off the top of the ropes. Hulk Hogan never did anything fancy like that. He grabbed you, he punched you, he raked you across the eyes and raked across the back, stuff like that. His big finisher was a leg drop. So you don't have to be the most athletic person to be a good performer, and just put out a great performance, and put a smile on the fan's face. And Kamala, with some of his gimmick, with his like kind of messing up, pinning guys in the ring, or his fear of the casket when he got into his first casket match with the Undertaker. The guy just played the role to perfection. At one point, I knew his name and I forgot it. We know how my mind works. But to my knowledge, never actually went to Africa or anything. Again, he's from Mississippi, but he just played a fun character. I mean, there's really nothing else to say. And the way that this one was just, I think I would have loved it, obviously, if it had more accessories. You throw the mask on here and shield and really give it 100% complete accessories. Am I complaining? No. Not for something like this, but it would just make it even more awesome. And at some point, I'm probably, because I know they make like LJN masks and shields and stuff for the Kamala figure, and I'm like, you know what? I should have bought that a long time ago when I had the opportunity, because I really haven't seen those in quite some time. But Kamala, he's a favorite, most definitely. I'm not ready to put him down yet, so for now, I'm just gonna brush him to the side while we move on to our next two mainstays of this tournament, and the Sheik Al-Kassi and the Russian Boris Zukov. So I finally was able to look at a picture recently, just this afternoon, I believe, and I said that Boris Zukov, that this looks just like the original, and it does, but when you look at the head of the Barbarian, that it doesn't look like it's been painted or anything. It just looks like it's all original, right? But when you look at Boris's head, it doesn't have that same feel. Like, it feels like they put like lacquer or something. I don't know how these are made. So not 100%. Like, you could look at the figure and know that it's been customized. But all in all, if you take away that shininess, I guess, it looks exactly like the original figure. And again, these three, with the Sheik, the Russian, and the Barbarian, they all sit on my primary original display shelf among the loose figures. Now, will I ever get this guy on card? Here's the thing. With the Matt Mania figures, Doug Summers was the only one I've ever been able to find on auction, or it doesn't even have to be an auction. It could just be a regular listing, regular buy it now. Like, I've seen one Joker list, what was it, a Barbarian figure, just a Barbarian, nothing else, just the figure itself without any accessory, for $2,000. Of course, that guy has, like, I don't know. I don't want to necessarily mock other people for how they create listing prices for a lot of things, but I don't understand how they sell anything, because you got to basically, alter your prices based on the market, and it's just insane. I'm like, I'll take this for $100 over that plain one for $2,000. So the Russian, again, easily one of my favorite figures in the Remco line. I've talked about it 1,000 times. Likewise with the Sheik. Where would I put them? I always say top 5, top 10, but I've never actually sat there and did a countdown of where I'd like to put them. So I don't know. Like, he could be number 5, and he could be like number 2. I don't know. I really didn't watch either wrestler per se as a kid. I mean, obviously I've known him, the Sheik Al-Kassi, because of his General Ednon character in the WWF. he was in the WWF as well, Borisukov, and I have no recollection of that. Nikita Karlov and all these different, Russian wrestlers. Like, the names sound familiar to me, and of course nowadays as a collector, the names pop up quite often. But I really didn't remember them as a kid, and it sucks. Even a lot of people I did watch wrestle, and I probably watched wrestling up until about 98, I want to say, because 1998, that's when I became baseball obsessed, and 13 years old, wrestling was fading out for me. I don't really remember anything from 99 onwards, and I could have stopped watching wrestling in 97. I don't know, but so I really wish I had more of a remembrance of these characters. It's just not there. These two figures, honestly, I want to see Kamala in the next round. I want to see him as part of the three-man finals. But that means I'm going to have to get rid of two originals. And you know how much I'd rather see an original win a match or win a tournament than a custom. Even though I always feel like the customs always win regardless. And if pattern stays true, if I push Kamala forward, he could win this one. It's got one of my favorite looks. I love the fact that they swapped out the shoes and everything on the figure. Gave him his normal bare feet. I don't know, guys. This is really more tough than I could have ever imagined. And we're at 17 minutes. So yeah, I expected this to kind of take up 20 minutes. You know what? I want to keep Kamala. I really thought that when I saw Kamala push into the semifinals, I'm like, you know what? It was a fantastic run. I'm proud of this figure, but he was gonna be done. There was no doubt in my mind. There's no way I thought that he was gonna beat any of these other figures. I still thought when I had these last five after the last round, I honestly thought that the Ultimate Warrior was gonna be my winner. But I want to see Kamala in the next round. So he's going to join Barbarian among the finalists. So that brings you down to the Sheik and the Russian. Do I like Borisukov better, or do I like Alcassi better? I'm going to go with the Russian. In the last video, in round one or round four, only had one video. The Sheik Alcassi took on the Iron Sheik. The Iron Sheik is really the one I wanted to see forward, but I just could not pass on the Sheik Alcassi. Original figure, amazing, but so to me, I think that was the right choice to go with that one. And to kind of, it's nice to kind of look at these two figures together, because every time I look at them, obviously, they're not the same character, but it always brings me back to WWF. It brings me back to Nikolai Volkov and the Iron Sheik, because you have a Sheik, and then you have a Russian wrestler. So why wouldn't you make that comparison, right? But that is just so good. It is a tough call, and it is going to be physically impossible for me to choose between one of the three finalists. With the Ultimate Warrior out, does Kamala become, I don't know, I guess the guy I would put my money on to win this tournament? Does he become the next guy in line? Do I give it to the figure that was my first custom and most reminiscent to any of the original figures among these customs? Well, actually, Borisukov might be the most reminiscent, again, only because of the color of the accessories. That's it. If you actually look at the regular Matt Mania Barbarian, his is like a light brown or whatnot. I've never had a problem with that, I always thought it was a fantastic figure from the get-go, so. Borisukov. Amazing. I'm glad that he got picked, though. I think with not only the singlet, but the chain accessory as well, it works. As I said, guys, I could probably do the last matchup right now, take this video to about 30 minutes, 32 minutes, something like that, but I'm going to do things a little bit different this time, and I'm going to stop after the semifinals and make the finals a whole different video. I have no clue where I'm going with the last three guys, and I should probably take some time off, kind of ponder it upstairs or something for a while before I come back down here and make another video and finish off the tournament. But I'm probably gonna do the finals immediately after this, so I don't know. It sucks. A tournament like this is always, because it's, I've said it before, I'm like the tournament guy. My channel is basically mostly my favorite tournaments, and I enjoy these. And I think the Remco tournament has actually been almost as much fun as pretty much any other tournament. I think the LJN tournaments are probably the only ones that I would have probably enjoyed a little bit more. But from Rob Jackson today. Today is Monday the 2nd. I got a box of figures I sent him, and he did the paint job on a lot of them, of course, and some custom work here and there on other figures. There is a couple of Galoob figure customs I requested using the Sid Vicious figure, which I already love. You know how much I love that figure. And one of them was a Sergeant Slaughter, which looks so reminiscent to the Hasbro 8-inch mail-away figure. And I got a Evil Crush. I put it up on the paper, miscellaneous, gave him free reign to make whatever figure he wanted to, and to come up with not only that character, but that look, incredible. I'm really looking forward to doing the Galoob tournament. I know it's not going to happen anytime in the next few months because I simply don't have enough Galoob customs to work with. But I mean, if I wanted to make a really short tournament, like, maybe 10 to 12 videos or something, yeah, I could probably get it done, and I don't think it would take 10 videos even, but, because you gotta think, if I do 5 matchups per video, you're looking at 10 figures per video, and I'd probably have somewhere around 30 figures total, so it just wouldn't balance out the right way. Now, if I get to like 32, maybe, because then you have an even number throughout, but that's all for now, guys. I'm going to pause or stop the video, come back, make the video again, the last video, and that will conclude the tournament. Thanks for watching, and please let me know what you guys would have chosen, and if you think I made the right choice. I'm always interested to hear what you guys got to say. Goodbye, everyone.